The story of modern global finance cannot be told without mentioning two of its most formidable dynasties, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. These names evoke images of immense wealth, unparalleled power, a level of influence that transcended national borders and spanned generations. The Rothschild family, originating from the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt, Germany, established a banking empire that became the financial backbone of European governments. Across the Atlantic, the Rockefeller family, led by the patriarch John D. Rockefeller, rose from modest beginnings to dominate the burgeoning American oil industry, creating a fortune that would redefine the scale of private wealth and corporate power in the New World. Their stories, though originating on different continents and in different centuries, were destined to intertwine in a powerful alliance. The Rothschild dynasty began with Meyer Amschel Rothschild in the late 18th century. A dealer in rare coins antiques, he laid the foundation for a banking house that would become legendary. His true genius, however, was in dispatching his 5 sons to the key financial centers of Europe: London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, Frankfurt. This network of brothers created the world's first truly international bank, communicating via a private courier system that was often faster than government channels. They financed wars, most famously Wellington's campaign against Napoleon, and funded massive infrastructure projects like railways, Suez Canal. Meanwhile, in the post-Civil War United States, a new industrial titan was emerging. John D. Rockefeller, a meticulous and famously frugal bookkeeper from Cleveland, Ohio, saw the immense potential in a new commodity, petroleum. In 1870, he founded the Standard Oil Company. Through a combination of ruthless business tactics, strategic acquisitions of competitors, brilliant logistical innovations like pipelines, he systematically built a near-total monopoly over the American oil refining industry. By the 1880s, Standard Oil controlled roughly 90% of the market. Rockefeller's wealth grew to an unprecedented scale, making him the world's first billionaire, and a symbol of both the promise and the perils of Gilded Age capitalism, his influence extending deep into the political and economic fabric of America. Thus, by the dawn of the 20th century, the global stage was dominated by 2 distinct but equally powerful financial empires. The Rothschilds represented the old world of European state finance, their power built on centuries of lending to governments and managing vast inherited fortunes. The Rockefellers, in contrast, symbolized the new world of American industrial capitalism. Their power derived from the control of a vital global commodity and the relentless efficiency of a modern corporation. One was a dynasty of bankers whose currency was gold government debt. The other was a dynasty of industrialists whose currency was oil. The alliance between the Rothschild and Rockefeller families was not a formal, publicly declared treaty, but a complex, pragmatic coming together of shared interests and strategic necessities. The early 20th century was a period of immense global change. The United States was rapidly ascending as a world economic power, challenging Europe's long-held supremacy. The Rothschilds, with deep ties to European governments and financial markets, recognized the rising importance of American capital and industry. Conversely, the Rockefellers, having conquered the American market, sought to expand globally and legitimize their fortune by aligning with the forefront name in international finance. The union was a quiet but logical fusion of influence. The primary catalyst for cooperation was the intersection of oil and banking. The Rockefeller empire, built on oil, needed vast capital for global expansion, exploration, and building international infrastructure. Rockefellers had powerful banks like Chase National Bank. But partnering with the Rothschilds opened European markets and unparalleled political leverage. The Rothschilds saw oil as the fuel of the modern industrial and military age. Securing influence in the global petroleum market was crucial to maintaining their financial preeminence as the world shifted from coal to oil. The connections solidified through strategic investments and joint ventures, funneled through their banks. Chase National Bank and Rothschild houses worked together on international loans and syndicated deals. This was less personal friendship and more institutional alignment. When American firms expanded into Europe or beyond, backing from both Chase and a Rothschild bank opened doors and smoothed political pathways. The result? a de facto transatlantic financial bridge, allowing capital and influence to flow more freely between continents under their joint guidance. The alliance was also a response to shifting geopolitics. World War I devastated European economies, turning the US from debtor to the world's primary creditor. Their joint ventures also reached deep into control of raw materials. Beyond oil, large-scale mining. They saw control of raw materials as fundamental to global power, often acting through corporate proxies and consortiums. Massive mining projects across Africa, massive mining projects across South America. Their finance could underwrite huge, risky projects few could afford, securing strategic materials, copper, securing strategic materials, diamonds, securing strategic materials, uranium. That cemented influence over industrial and military complexes. Their alliance could undertake projects that altered whole national economies. They also exerted political influence through softer means. Pioneers of large-scale philanthropy, Rockefeller Foundation, and various Rothschild charitable trusts, funding work in medicine, funding work in science, funding work in the arts. They funded universities, they sponsored international conferences, they established think tanks, like the Council on Foreign Relations. These institutions shaped policy debates and nurtured a global elite, ensuring their views were present in the corridors of power. Their collaboration also showed up in corporate finance and mergers. The Rothschild-Rockefeller axis could facilitate massive international deals. European companies seeking to merge with an American firm. The direct personal alliance of the early 20th century has evolved, yet the legacy of the Rothschild and Rockefeller families continues to resonate powerfully in the 21st century. Their influence is no longer wielded by a few patriarchs, but is institutionalized in the vast and complex network they established. Banks, corporations, foundations, trusts, institutions like J.P. Morgan Chase, a successor to the Rockefellers' Chase Manhattan. The various independent Rothschild and Co. advisory firms remain formidable players in global finance, advising governments shepherding multi-billion-dollar mergers. The wealth of both families has been diversified and passed down through generations, managed by sophisticated family offices that continue to make strategic investments across the global economy. The model of global governance they helped champion is now the status quo. International financial institutions they supported, such as the IMF World Bank, continue to be primary arbiters of the global economy. The concept of public-private partnerships is a direct descendant of their large-scale financing. Their vision of an interconnected global economy has largely been realized. Their true legacy is not just in their fortunes, but in the very system they helped construct. While their names may now be more associated with history and conspiracy theory than with daily headlines, the structures they built and the system they championed remain the foundational pillars of our modern world.